The greatest power you possess is your ability to choose. Join Lowe's Moore as he reveals how you can begin to maximize that power by exploring yourself on the deepest levels and committing to making lasting and positive changes. Get ready to achieve breakthroughs that will lead to accelerated growth and transformation, because you are now tuned in to The Blueprint.
Why the actions contradict the lamb. I'm fellowshipping when I'm with the fam. That's more relations, that's forming a fun.
Good evening and welcome back to the Blueprint Podcast. I'm your host, Lowe's Moore, and man, I'm glad to be back with you guys on another Sunday evening on the Blueprint. You know, I did something just before. I went live just before, and I was talking about a reflection of the year so far, 2025, and you know, we wanted to get off to a good start. We started out the year about the importance of creating a healthy lifestyle in 2025. And we had, you know, a wonderful guest, great interview. If you didn't see it, go back. It stays on Lowe's Motor Blueprint on YouTube and Lowe's Motor Blueprint on Facebook. And Janan was on, Janan Wang. She was on, and it was just great to have our interview. And I follow her, right? And she has some really amazing. Right, she's actually on a challenge. I don't know if it was a sugar challenge or something like that, but she's on a 30-day challenge around health. And every day she comes up with some creative ideas of things that you could cook, things you could eat, in terms of developing a healthy lifestyle in 2025. So check her out. I mean, she's on Instagram. And then also, I thought it was important to start off the year and not only to have a healthy lifestyle, but to have a healthy financial lifestyle. And my man, Steven Stacks, down in Charlotte, North Carolina, man, he's an amazing coach, a financial coach, and y'all could check him out as well. Remember, the shows stay on in perpetuity. That's what my wife always says. It stays on. It doesn't stop. Right. So check that out as well. Steven Stack and 2025 and a healthy financial lifestyle. And then we thought it was important to have a healthy spiritual life as well. We brought Pastor Paul on, and we talked about, you know, our spiritual life. And what we wanted to do was find out what was, and spiritually, we wanted to find out what was heavenly things in 2025. And then the other thing is we wanted to set our affections on heavenly things in 2025, right? And for all you seniors out there, I mean, sometimes when you do healthy lifestyles, man, we kind of focus on, it almost seems like we focus on younger people, although, you know, I'm a senior myself, right? It seems like we focus on young people and vegan lifestyle, vegetarian lifestyle, but healthy lifestyles. And, you know, but tonight, man, we're gonna have a treat, man, because we're gonna have a real senior, right? You know, on tonight, man, who I said, you know, every time I see him, I say that, man, when I grow up, I want to be just like you. Right. And so we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff, but also, you know, as you get older, you know, what are some things that you could do with your lifestyle as you get older so that you could be active. Right. You know, I always want to be active. I want to run behind my my grandkids, not my grandkids dragging me around. Or I'm saying, honey, grandpa just too tired. He can't get up. I mean, I want to be able to get up when they say get up. I want to be able to move when you say move, right? And if they try to race me, man, I'm going to beat them, man. Because they have to, one day they're going to have to figure out how to beat Pop, right? So that's my mindset, right? You know, and so that's exciting. And then last year we launched in February, and again we in the month of love, right? And we're this February the 2nd, right? And I usually start on the first, but you remember last year I did the 21 days or the 28 days of love, and 28 days of love challenge 2025 coming soon. You know, we start in the night. I didn't get a chance to start yesterday, and hopefully during the course of the week from 12 p.m. to 12:30 p.m. you take a break in your day, right? And we're going to talk about love because we want to start a love revolution, right? And then you see that little sign over there in that little promo. See a little sign at the bottom? Love Challenge 365, right? We're not just doing 28 days of love. I'm not going to be on every day, right? But we should get the mindset at the end of the month of February. We should get our mindset on that love should be done 365 days out of the year. We should be conscious of love 365 days. And man, there's always a treat. It's a pause in your day for 30 minutes, and I pop on, hopefully with a guest, and we talk about the importance and power of love, right? And it's the most powerful weapon that we have is love, right? And so we want to express that. And as we all know, God is love, right? If you don't have God, it's hard to love authentically, right? So let's get rolling. I want to start out with my book of the week.
You know what? Maybe you should talk a little bit about where you're streaming. Talk about where you're streaming at. See? Look.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget, we not only are we on Lowe's More the Blueprint on Facebook and YouTube, but we also on Lowe's More the Blueprint podcast. We're streaming live on the Phoenix National Network, PNN, Roku, and Fire TV Stick, right? If you can't get us on Facebook or YouTube, that's where we are. Thanks to my man, Philip Reed, right, who's the owner of PNN. Awesome. Now, here's my book of the week, right? I got two. You see, it says books of the week. I don't know if you guys remember this. I read this book a long time ago. This book been out for a while, right? It's called Heaven is a Playground. I don't know if you even know that there was a movie called Heaven is a Playground, and talks about basketball in New York City, talking about the game and how much people really love the game of basketball, right? Very powerful book. Hopefully you get an opportunity to read it. It's still available, right? So check that out. Heaven is a Playground. I used to love that saying too. And check out the movie as well. And then The Whistleblower, by Bob Katz, right, man? He gets into some intriguing things about officiating, right? And the power of officiating. I mean, if we didn't have officials, we probably have an all-out war. Many players don't like officials, right? But if you try to play a game, man, I was up at the LA Fit. Man, I've never played at LA Fit. I go to work out at LA Fit. I go to swim at LA Fit, right? But they closed down the gym and put weights in there because, right, guys are yelling and screaming at each other, and they was fighting all the time. And now I go to LA Fit in Port Chester. I think it's one of the only gyms that's open that they allowed people to come in and play basketball, right? And I could go in there and lift weights, right? And I would look in there and watch them and see them playing basketball. I can go lift weights. I can go swim for another hour, and I could come back, and they can only be on their second game because they spend more time arguing like they're going to get paid. Ain't nobody getting paid in the gym, right? And you ain't really even no stress if you arguing every minute, and you're not getting in any shape if all you do is argue the whole time. That's why we need, what we need, babe? We need officials. We need somebody to referee the game and kick some of them guys out the gym, right? So, all right. Here's my word of the week.
So I thought you were still talking about love.
We still talking about love. You need love too. I
need love because I won't be yelling at the officials all the time whenever we at the games because I be yelling at them officials.
Gotta get you stressed off some kind of way.
Oh yeah, man, this is
no,
really
but
good.
I have to be honest. My wife don't just yell at the officials.
Yeah, I yell at the
She
players.
be yelling at the coach. She be yelling at the players.
I yell at the fans too if they get on my nerves.
Yeah. She does it all, right? I'm just chilling back there. I'm like, okay, every now and then I'll say something, but you know, here's the word of the week: integrity. Right? I mean, there's nowhere in the world you can be an official. Although I wonder sometimes, you could be an official and not have any integrity. Right?
Ooh,
I mean, you know, be accountable as an official. I mean, you know, fair, be fair. Right? Although sometimes I've been at some games, right, depending on the culture, I mean, some of them calls don't go right. You know, but it says, man, an official has integrity. I like to say that that's true. I'm gonna ask my guests a little bit later, man, about that word integrity in officiating, ethical in officiating. So that's my word of the week: integrity. Hopefully, we all have some integrity left. I don't know about the government right now, but you know, I don't want to get into politics. But man, woo, I question some integrity. You know what I question too? You know, the moral compass. The moral compass of America. I'm going to move on from that one. Right. Here's my affirmation, my Pierce Harper affirmation moment. It says, this is how your light changes the world. Right. When we wake up in the morning, man, we need to think about that. We are lights. And when we leave our home, right, and we enter into this society, into this world, into our culture, right, we should be lights. And that's an example right there. What happens when light shows up, right? It starts to impact people when you show up, when you're a light, right? When you show love, when you show integrity, right? You start to change things. That's my affirmation moment. And then here's my music, right, and movie of the week. Right? Everybody remember the fish that saved Pittsburgh?
yes.
Remember Magic Mona? Magic Mona. Magic Mona. Remember?
No.
Remember when Dr. J was floating through the air and the girl was looking at him as he was floating through the air and he was dunking the ball backwards inside? That soundtrack is hot. I don't know if you're man, check out the soundtrack of The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. Right, man? It's one of the all-time great soundtracks in my estimation. And then Finding Foster. We're going to talk a little bit more about Finding Foster a little bit later. One of my favorite basketball movies with Sean Connery, the late Sean Connery, man. And just a tremendous movie. As soon as it comes on, and I'm changing the channel and I see it, I stop because I got to check that out, right? And here's my person of the week, Ronnie Nunn. Now he's one official I do like. Besides my guess, right? But Ronnie Nunn was, when I was playing in the CBA, I think Ronnie Nunn had just, well, in terms of professional sports, he just started officiating. He was officiating in the CBA. And you know what he was? He always had integrity, right? And you know, he just had a way about officiating the game. You know, I was watching... You know, the thing I was watching the St. John's game today, and for me, I'm just saying for me, I'm not saying for my wife because she was yelling at the officials. It was one of the first times where I didn't really notice the officials, other than a few 3-second calls and a few other calls that they could have made. Man, they were just they just supposed to be there in case there's a foul committed or a violation committed, and it's not about them. It's about the team. It's about the players, right? And I felt that a little bit today, you know. And Ronnie Nunn is one of the greatest officials to ever officiate, particularly in the NBA, right? And he was a major consultant for the NBA as well. I don't know if I have anything else. Yeah. Can't forget Ain't Too Proud, right? The Life and Times of the Temptation. You know, of course, you know, every week, you know, my son Lowe's the third is playing Eddie Kendricks, right? I guess he's on his way
to Macon, Georgia.
Macon, Georgia. He's on his way to Macon, Georgia.
And then following that, he'll be going to
Lexington, Kentucky, right? And you see all the dates there on the side where they're performing at. And great show, amazing show. And
he's currently in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Little Rock, Arkansas.
So they just finished their last show in Little Rock.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So I'm excited. So let's get rolling. I mean, let me show you this video.
And did you want to talk about next week?
Oh, yeah. Let me talk. I think, yeah, I didn't. Next week on the Blueprint Podcast, man, I don't know who you got. I don't know. I don't have a dog in the game. Right? I mean, next week. I mean, I'm not going to say who. Yeah, I'm going to say who I want to win.
Philly, right?
Yeah, I want Philly to win. I want Philadelphia to win. I want to see Jalen hurt. You know, they always talking about quarterback, man. Right? They always talking about him as a quarterback, right? But he's a leader, right? And so I would love to see Saquon.
Oh, Saquon.
I'd love to see Saquon win a championship, man. You know, hey, and I'm a big component when people they can win 1 million games for. I'm gonna say, as far as I'm concerned,
big proponent.
proponent.
Okay.
Right, I'm a proponent of winning. Right,
Yes.
You know, after you start winning, people start winning. All people said want the winners to start losing. I don't know nobody who woke up and said I'm gonna lose today.
Right.
Right? Everybody want to win every single day. So all of a sudden, somebody's got 88 straight games. Oh, man, they got to lose. They winning too much. I ain't never heard that. I ain't never won too much.
Well, I remember back in the day when the Chicago Bulls were winning, you didn't want them to stop losing.
No, well.
So you should be wanting Kansas City to get 6 in a row.
I did, but this is an exception. This is an exception.
Oh, okay.
Patrick Mahomes is wonderful, you know, and I would like to see him get the 3-peat, but Jalen Hurts is in the way, and Saquon is in the way, and they need to get one. Right? They need to get one.
I guess we'll find out next Sunday.
Next Sunday, and so Saturday, my show is on Saturday morning, right? The 15th, February 15th, Saturday morning. Right, I got a good former, well, I say enemy, because he was with Pittsburgh, I was with West Virginia, and Sam Clancy, my man Sam Clancy, man, 6'6" at that time, 285, balling out, right, didn't make it as a basketball player, right, but spent 12 years playing professional football after his basketball career, right. We're going to be talking about football, we're going to be talking about the Super Bowl, with my main man, Sam Clancy, man. He's the nicest guy, man, biggest guy in the world. You see LeBron James? That boy is huge. Right? I saw LeBron, man. I did the battleground with LeBron. And he was standing there. I looked up at him. He was standing right next to me. He was right in front of me. He stood right up. He was talking on the mic. I looked at him, man. I said, that dude looked like somebody built him, man. Looked like he took my thighs and had it on his shoulder. That's Sam Clancy back in the day. That's how Sam Clancy was back in the day, right? So let's get rolling, right? And then the following week, right? I don't know who my guest is yet. I'm sure I'm going to have a guest on the NBA All-Star Weekend. There's a lot of stuff in February. It's good because it's Black History Month, right? And we're going to have a special again on a Saturday morning. I said the 15th. Next week is not the 15th. Next week is what?
The 9th.
The
It's
9th. Right.
Well, it's the 8th.
8th. Saturday
It's
the
the
8th is the NFL Super Bowl and show. And then Saturday the 15th is the NBA All-Star show. And we're going to be remembering Gus again, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't forget, this Friday, man, we're going to celebrate Gus Williams and his homegoing, right? Friday in Mount Vernon, New York, at the Macedonia Church, right? Macedonia Baptist Church. We're going to be celebrating him. There's a viewing from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. and then a 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. viewing, and then the celebration of life is at 6 p.m. Right, we're gonna be remembering Gus, man. It's gonna be a tough. It's already been tough. This is gonna be extremely tough next week, but we're gonna get through it for him. All right. I think we got a highlight, right? We got a video.
Yes,
Check this video out.
All right.
The workout secrets to over 50 years of refereeing. But first, let me thank everyone who's come up to my pops and said how much he inspires you, because you inspire him and make my job a lot easier. So I'm going to take you through our workouts. We do things for different reasons, whether it's balance, stability, flexibility, and it's great to have a balance of everything. And I love to get the core into play. So here is a hip hike, which strengthens the knee and the quad. This is a hip flexor stretch, counteracts the seating posture, also the bridge. Get that tushy up, and the triceps. This is a back extension with a plate. Here's a plank working triceps and core and up. Okay, pops, with the push up. And anytime you work, again, the lower body and upper body, you are utilizing the core to transfer the force. Hence, it's a core force transducer. And I love utilizing explosion, power to help wake up the central nervous system, and a hamstring stretch, sitting on the floor. We rarely sit on the floor as we get older. So I told you I had some good news. We will be appearing on a podcast and telling the secrets to over 50 years of working out and staying fit. Shout out to Lowe's Moore from Money Earning Mount Vernon. Not only is he an NBA All-Star, but he is a pillar in the community and one of the men who have raised me. So it's going to be very interesting because my father's him and I'm me, but together we're like a whole nother energy. So check it out, February 2nd. YouTube, Facebook. I'll send the link. Stay tuned, stay powerful, and positive. Peace, y'all.
Yeah, we welcome the legend. I gotta call him Mr. Bill Modeste. Right? Hey, we gotta give respect where respect is due. Right, just like growing up with all the guys in the Boys and Girls Club, right? Mr. Jones, Mr. Coleman, Mr. White, Mr. Billy Thomas. We got Mr. Bill Modeste, right? 50 years, over 50 years in stripes, man. Welcome to, and we got his lovely daughter, Sakia, in the house as well, right? I hope you're like not all in water, right?
I don't know. I think we like different grades of oil. He's 93 and I'm trying to catch up. He's premium and I'm like regular, but I strive to become like this brother right here, my father.
93. Woo!
I'm talking about the gas, the quality, not your age. He's like grade 93.
Wow.
But this is 86 years young.
86 young. Yeah, my mom just turned 85.
Wow.
Right, yeah. And you know,
She gonna probably say, I know you didn't just put my age on the shout it out to, women are different.
Okay, all right.
What difference does it make?
She is a queen, though.
Yeah, she is a queen.
She is.
I got to tell this story.
Uh-oh.
Well, I was driving along. I think it's this summer. I don't know if it was August or probably August sometime. I was driving around. And I don't even know why I was in the Bronx. Right. I'm driving around, man, and I come up to a stoplight and there's a playground there. Right? And I look to my right and I saw Mr. Modeste refereeing the game.
What?
With the little kids. I was like, man, I'm gonna be like him when I grow up. I'm gonna be refereeing the game. No, I'm not gonna referee no game. But I may run up and down for a little bit, but no, that's inspirational. Yeah. To be 86 and still doing something I believe you love, because nobody getting out there who don't love something, But I want to welcome you to the Blueprint podcast, and Thanks for taking time out your busy schedule. And I want to say congratulations, right? Because you were inducted into the Bronx Basketball Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Let me go get
Like,
your award.
well deserved.
Thank you much.
Yeah, well deserved. And it was my pleasure. Me and my wife, it was my pleasure to be there when we heard. Zakia called us up, text me, and say, "My dad is being what? Oh, we got to be there."
And it was
Yeah.
comfortable to have someone who has seen the journey, not only mine but his. Like, you are an integral part in my growth and development, and we've experienced, me and him have experienced you in two different ways. When he wasn't there, you was there, you know. So
Right.
it was a nice little figure eight infinity moment about each one, teach one.
Yeah. No, it's awesome, man.
Her point is so well taken because I remember you, Lowe's, when they were trying to get I think a person of color at the high school, and they had a little, I think a strike day or something. But they had in the school, they were talking about the need for a black. That's when the gentleman came in. I forget his name from Massachusetts. But I remember you mentioning that all the days you had at Mount Vernon High School, you never had a black teacher. You thought it was time for it. So that was a very revolutionary, noble undertaking for a student at that particular time. And I said, wow, this guy really has a unique understanding of the powers that make things happen. So
Yeah.
congratulations for that.
Well, I think we had a few black teachers back then, because Miss, what's my English teacher's name?
Our
Miss-
neighbor.
Miss Jordan. Yeah. Michelle's godmother.
Both of them.
Mr. and Mrs. Jordan
Doctor.
was my Michelle's godparents. So she was my English teacher, but we had very few English teacher, right? English teachers, teachers period, back then, and we started to accumulate them as counselors, and teachers. And I think that one of the things they were striking, and I had just come back from Albany, New York. So one of the reasons why they were striking, because at that time in the district, nobody could get any business. There was not any black distributors of products and supplies and materials to the school district. And so they had boycott the school district so that more black opportunities would be available for black businesses in regards to supplies for the school district. And I had just come back home, and I was one of the principals. Matter of fact, assisting my father-in-law, Lord Wallace, right, as one of the principals of one of the schools during the strike. It was interesting to go to be a part of that, because you think about, and I'm sure you could talk a little bit about this, the things that you've seen in terms of history, right, where we had to make choices on standing for for all the opportunities to be able to go to integrate the schools. I mean, to be able to go to any bathroom you want, to drink from any water fountain you want. And it takes, that the civil rights movement, the Black Baptist Association, Dr. King, and NAACP. So it was so many, as a kid, you seen so many people make a stand, right? And so for me, that was a moment for me, to stand. And when you see so many legends, particularly in my sport, basketball, who stood up, Muhammad Ali, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Right.
Bill Russell.
Yeah.
I mean, Jim Brown. I mean,
Right,
and so many others, entertainers, musicians, athletes that stood up in a time when we needed people to stand up. We needed heroes, And so you probably could talk a little bit more about that experience yourself.
Oh, without a doubt. I went to school in Raleigh, North Carolina, Shore University, and I had never been south before. And I really didn't understand this colored and white thing. As a New Yorker trying to go to the movie theater, my homeboys who were ahead of me, 2 years and 3 years ahead of me, they didn't really prepare me for what I was going to experience. I went down to get into the movie theater, the front door or at the booth and whatever, and the lady in charge started saying things I couldn't understand her southern language, but it was a little, I don't know, up there. And I was like, what is she talking about? She meant that I couldn't go in the front. I had to go upstairs where it was more colored. And I said, oh my God, this cannot be for me. How do I get around this? And then I saw in front of the post office, water fountains, white, colored. I was saying, you mean the government is down with this? I thought it was just, the folks, but it was everybody. It was very difficult. It was very difficult. In fact, SNCC was started in 1960 on my school's campus.
Yeah.
Student
Committee, Student Nonviolence Coordinating Committee.
Right. I remember SNCC.
Right. And I didn't realize what was happening on campus because it happened April 15th during the Easter break. And most of the students who lived in North Carolina, Virginia, and nearby states, they went home for the holidays. With the New York crew, we only came home for Christmas and the end of the semester. So we were down there and we heard all this big to-do. Martin Luther King was there, Rap Brown was there, Stokely was there, other people were there, and they were organizing, and we were like, whoa, what is going on? It was the best of times for us in reference to waking us up to the struggle for liberation, freedom, and self-determination. It was really an educational experience outside the classroom, which was marvelous. It was phenomenal, and so much at one time we heard that the Klan was coming from coming to Raleigh, and I wondered, what do we do? We couldn't call the police, but the police was down with the Klan. They even had black policemen, but they couldn't arrest white folks. So it was like, we just had to run to our dorm, get into bed. Some of us had baseball bats, but we were at the mercy. Fortunately, they didn't come through Raleigh, but they were down near that southern part of North Carolina.
Yeah.
But that was an experience for me.
Wow.
Going to an HBCU, historically black college and university, was a real eye-opening situation for me. I felt that everybody there was invested in me being successful.
Mm.
It was a fantastic feeling that everybody was pushing you to be successful, as preparing the next generation for liberation.
Wow.
It was really a great experience.
Yeah.
Great experience.
That had to be powerful, man. I was born in Plymouth, North Carolina. And I think when my wife and I got married, I think we had Michelle, our first daughter. And I think we went to the movies. Let's go to the movies. It was literally the first time I told her, this is the first time they allowed us to sit on the first floor. Right? And I told her, I said, the last time I was down, we had all the blacks had to sit up in this little small section at the top of the theater. And you couldn't sit on the first floor. And that was the biggest part of the theater. It was a weird feeling to walk in that theater and sit on that first floor. I mean, and I'm sure we're a little age difference, so that wasn't long ago,
Right.
So yeah, man. Talk to me about, because 3 things on the show we talk about all the time, man, is the importance and power of family, faith, and education. So talk about your parents, siblings. Talk about a little bit about growing up in that experience.
Well, I grew up. Well, my mom's is from Antigua, British West. It was the British West Indies at that time. In fact, I got a funny story to tell you about that and my dad is from Trinidad. When I went to school, the teacher wanted to know, where is your parents? Where is your mother from? So I didn't know at that time. So I asked my mom, I said, Mom, they want to know where you're from. So she said, just tell them BWI. Okay. Tell me anything, I said, what does that mean? She said, they won't know. Just tell them BWI. And then British West Indies. So I didn't know that. So I went and told the teacher, Dad worked for the post office. We worked the graveyard shift. Was that 4 to 12? And when I was getting ready to go to school, he was getting ready to go to work. And when he came home, I was asleep. So Mom's kind of ran the show for the most part in reference to my direction, what I was supposed to do, how I was supposed to do it. But I had a very, very, very committed stepsister. I didn't call her stepsister. She was my sister.
She was half sister. She wasn't just she was your half sister.
Half sister.
Right. You had the same father.
Right. She was my half sister. But I never called her. She was my sister. And she took care of everything. Made sure I had an opportunity to go and take piano lessons, took me to the rodeo, to the circus, took me down to Macy's to see the Christmas display or whatever.
Such a shoot, right?
Yeah, and she kind of like introduced me, socialized me to the other things that were outside of the Harlem community. And that's so important that you can get a perspective of what's going on that's beyond what you actually see, that's always just in front of your face.
Yeah.
So that was very, very inspiring to me, my growth my development, and how I interacted with people. I always interacted with people in a sense of appreciation for the opportunities. It wasn't inevitable that these were givens. These were things that were sort of like gifted to me. And it seemed as if I had a kind of like a respect and a response and an appreciation of those particular situations. She went on, and when she got married, her son, he was a big guy. He was bigger than I was. I was 5 years older than he was, and he was bigger than I was. He played football for,
Stanford?
no, it was University of, one of the universities in upstate Connecticut, I think.
Oh, New Haven.
New Haven, yeah. And one summer, I got him a job working as a counselor at one of the community centers. He played football. He went to a high school out in Coney Island, Alexander. Was it Alexander? No, Lincoln High School. Yeah. Played football for them. And went up to play in University. I think it was University of Connecticut. Yeah, one of those schools up there. But she also had two daughters. Her oldest daughter went to Cambridge when Harvard had Cambridge and Harvard. Cambridge was all girls and Harvard was some boys. Now I think they combined. And then her younger daughter went out to Stanford. And I asked her, I said, "Sis, how do you have two daughters that went to two of the most prestigious schools in the United States?" She said, "Well, tutoring. Make sure kids have tutoring outside of school."
Wow.
I said, "Oh, okay."
She was giving you some nuggets.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So when as you was coming up, in high school, what were you thinking about? I mean, in terms of, did you play sports in high school?
Yeah,
what were you thinking about?
I did. I played baseball. Let me just back up. In elementary school, I think it was 1957.
That's the year I was born.
Wow. Who comes to be our, what do you call it?
Assembly speaker?
Thank you. Our assembly speaker. Once a week, we have assembly. All the classes from, let's go there, first grade? No, when we started school with?
First grade.
First grade, yeah, from first grade to the sixth grade, yeah, elementary school. All the students come and listen to this elementary school teacher. Lo and behold, 1957, this big pigeon-toed dude comes through here, Jackie Robinson.
Wow.
And I saw this big man. Woo! I said, oh, boy.
What grade were you in?
I was in fifth grade. Yeah. And I guess that's being like maybe 10. Yeah, about 10 years old.
Yeah.
He comes in and he talks to us. And I remember to this day, Lowe's, him saying that until all Negroes are free, no Negro will be free. And I said, what did he mean by that? I was confused. I didn't know segregation and discrimination. Our whole school was all black students. I think there was one a Puerto Rican student. He spoke Spanish in the school, but for the most part, we were in Harlem, and that's all we saw were people who looked like us for the most part. But I remember Jackie saying that. I said, I was puzzled, didn't understand it at the time. But
what do you think it meant?
I didn't understand. I think it meant at the time that people looked at him as being successful, because he was the first black player to break the colored line, supposedly, and he was being he was being sort of like honored for that. And he wanted people to understand that he was just a token because he had the center stage, but basically the majority of people did not have the opportunity that he had. I think that's what he meant.
Also, during that time, the Negro League got dissolved.
Right.
So a lot of black baseball players lost their job for the sake of integration.
Not even the baseball players and the community. They tell me at Yankee stadiums, if they have the Negro League play first to bring all the fans out, then they would have the Yankees play. You know?
Wow.
So they would bring their, so all the black businesses kind of like, just like integration. When integration happened, the black principals and assistant principals and hierarchy individuals, they were not being integrated into the white schools. They had to go back to teaching or find another occupation. It just industrially just took them out of the whole marketplace.
Wow. Yeah.
And I did my capstone. I just got my master's in social and environmental art. And my father and Bill Roden sat on the capstone committee. And Bill Roden has a book called The $1 Million Slave.
The $1 Million Slave.
Yes.
I know Bill Roden.
So he talks in that book about Jackie Robinson quite a bit to his point. So to have both of them there was kind of surreal, especially on an intergenerational level. So just wanted to.
Yeah, the point is well taken. The $1 Million Slave. It was just, and later on, Roy Campanella, he had a store right in our neighborhood, 134th Street and 7th Avenue, but it happened to be a liquor store. And I was saying, today I'm saying, couldn't it be something more significant and more enriching for the community, but a liquor store? You know, it was almost not in our future best interest. Yeah.
So you end up graduating high school and going on to Shaw.
Right.
And what did you have in mind? I mean, what did you think your future career was going to be?
I thought about physical therapy for a while, but it was so. I think that's high school. You know, another interesting story. This guy, what's the big fellow's name? He told me that Julius Allen.
Oh, Julius, yeah.
He said, Bill, I was looking through my mother's yearbook, and I saw your picture. His mother and I graduated from high school at the same time, you know? And I went on to know him, and he's been a real great guy, too.
Yeah, Julius is the best. Yeah.
Well, to answer your question, what I had in mind, I was a little puzzled. I thought I had good grades in biology, and I liked physical education. I liked what I saw in physical education. I thought I liked that. And I went and majored in health, physical ed, and recreation. And didn't realize all the sciences I had to deal with. Botany, biology, chemistry. No, we didn't have physics. We got the other sports I had to deal with. Kinesiology, right? Yeah.
Woo.
I had to take all the sciences, all the science courses that the pre-med students had to take.
But he ended up being a medic. But you're going to get to that in a minute.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like right between college and high school.
Right?
Yeah, continue.
The draft. So the draft happened.
Yes, the
And
draft.
he, out of his friends, Ray and his buddies, Murphy, and he decided on the draft card to put that he was in the best shape of his life, and all his friends put that he was like, they felt like they were a little like, they had issues, and go ahead.
Yeah, I'm the only one who got drafted. All of them, they would go down with all kind of limps and illness, put a penny under your tongue, and then it shoots up your pressure or whatever they were.
They weren't going to war. That's why.
I didn't want to go either, though. I didn't want to go. But
Why when you were in '81, he had pride.
yeah, it was a double.
Well, he said, like I said earlier, he has integrity.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. He was gonna go there and lie. And his mom, I'm gonna interject this story. One day, somebody vandalized a school, and the girl had to pick out who did it. He's in
Right.
elementary school,
Right.
and he's sitting in class, and they say you and you, and then they bring him to the principal office, and they said you vandalized. You bring your mother to school tomorrow. And he said I didn't do it. So he went home and he told my grandmother, and I only got to know my grandmother when I was 8 and maybe 3. I had good memories of her. But my grandmother was a fair, pleasant, calm, even-keeled woman. And what did you say to Grandma?
I said, Grandma, I didn't do that. I said, Moms, I didn't do that. So the principal called her in the office and said, Mrs. Modeste, I want to let you know that William vandalized this classroom, she said. She said, no, my son does not lie.
Mm.
And I looked up, I was small. I think that might have been in the 6th grade.
Right.
But I was always one of the two shortest people in the class. First, I was number 1, number 2. One occasion, I was 1 of 3. But
so she said, my son, what? I don't really want to hear.
Right. She said, he said, you know why you're here? Your son vandalized this classroom. She said, no, sir. My son didn't do it, and my son does not lie. And I said, wow. What do you know? I was like,
integrity.
So go, Moms. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you say? Did you say anything?
No, I didn't say a word.
Just stood there like, yeah, boy.
So I felt the power of motherhood,
Yeah.
I felt Black Lives Matter. Because the principal and the assistant principal, and they had me convicted, ready to sentence me and punish me. And she said, no, my son didn't do it, and my son doesn't lie.
Wow.
Wow.
That sounds like that time when they tried to tell us Losey stole the book, the guy's book.
Listen,
Right?
Yeah, I remember that.
No, maybe I was in the 6th grade. I was at 11 then, and I remember that almost like it was yesterday. That was,
moms
that
and grandmoms know their kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, Treese was just saying that, we got a call from the school that Losey had took the attendance book. and he told us, he just said straight up, I didn't take no attendance book. So they tried to show video and all kinds of things. I said,
And
look,
the what is it? The officer.
the officer said, yeah, he took it.
He said, your parents are going to be ashamed of you. You're Lowe's Moore's son, and this is going to be an embarrassment to him that you did such a thing.
Right.
And Losey was like devastated, and they showed us the video, and showed us the book was there, and then Losey came in with a group of kids, and then the book was gone, and he was looking at something, and he said, "Well, Mommy, we had just taken a test, and I was showing them my book from the test, you know," and the guidance counselor, went to say something. She said he didn't take the principal told her to be quiet, and I was like, something's wrong. So I said, well, I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm gonna do. I said, I'm gonna sit here with the security, and I want to see my son walking, leaving, and I want to see when the book was found, because clearly it was found, right? And so I said, now I'm going to go frame by frame. I don't want you to speed it up. I want you to slow it down. Frame
don't mess
by
with trees.
frame. And before I got out of the office, the security said, "Can you come here for a minute?" And I said, "Sure." And they said, "Your son didn't take the book." They said he sat down on the book. Was the teacher left the book in the gym, which he wasn't supposed to do, and when my son went to sit on the thing, he must have pushed it underneath the table. That was, his butt must have pushed it under the table, because when they came to get the table for the basketball game, the book was sitting under the table. And they said, your son never took the book. I said, please, let's go back inside, and you're going to tell the principal I would like my son to have an apology, a formal apology.
Yes.
They could, and my son was like, Ma, I was like, yeah, listen, you don't understand. I am the letter writingest,
you sound like my mother.
CCingest person that you want to be dealing with. I will write the letter and CC everybody named Mama. Don't play with my kids. Now, listen, I always tell my kids, don't let me find out you wrong.
That's right.
I said, because if that part, if you did something wrong, admit it before I go in there, because what I'm not going to be is a fool defending you.
Wow.
So if you cuss somebody out, you did something you weren't supposed to do, you better spill all the beans down. Right. They were very good about it, too. They were like, Mommy, I did such and such, I'm sorry. I was like, okay.
The importance of motherhood.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to her talk about Lowe's, and I'm at Losey, and I coach Losey. I coach Michelle. I coach with her. It's just, and I forgot about that aspect of you allowing the track team and being a hound track team at the boys club when I was coaching with Coach Indy. And I came home injured, blew my knee out, and I was able to just be surrounded by the village of Mount Vernon in a tumultuous time, and that helped me get through my situation. So I want to highlight the importance of the work that you do in the community and the lack of Black male figures we have. And sometimes since he ain't there, I got to have somebody else I got to straighten up and fly right.
That's right. That's right.
Appreciate the village. Just acknowledge the village.
It takes a village to raise a child and to raise real, strong, committed individuals.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's important. It's an important part of our community.
Yeah.
And you end up going to shore. You graduated doing in what?
Graduated in 1961 in health, physical education, and recreation. And I was out. I got a job working right away at Forest Neighborhood House as what was it? A group worker, right? Yeah. We had a lot of problems in '61 with juvenile delinquency, as they called it at that time. So I was a teenage group worker.
El Gordo?
Yes. Well,
you gotta tell this story.
No. That was after the Army El Gordo, right? Yeah. Uncle Sam drafted me, and I got it deferred for a while. But by 1962, they sent me off to Fort Dix, and from Fort Dix to San Antonio, Texas. Woo! Oh, boy.
Hot. It was
Yeah,
hot down there.
Hot. And from Texas, they assigned me to Cleveland, Ohio. And from Cleveland, I stayed there for a while. We had a very good basketball team too, but they transferred me to
Wait, you gotta tell them about how you
Pittsburgh.
didn't realize the basketball team was like, it had nothing to do. There was a player, I think it was on one team. Remember you told me?
Oh yeah. They transferred me from Cleveland, Ohio, where we went to Chicago and came in third in this old basketball tournament. And I thought I was going to be there the next year, and they transferred me to Pittsburgh. So when we had the tournament the next year, I'm playing with Pittsburgh, and who were we playing for the championship? With the team from Cleveland, Ohio, my old team. So
man.
I put a little spank on them, but I fouled out, and I was pretty disappointed about that. But we wound up winning the game, and they awarded me the MVP, my only MVP that I ever got.
Oh man.
But it was like redemption, because Cleveland transferred me to Pittsburgh, and then they had to meet me playing for Pittsburgh against them in the championship in Chicago.
You did the LeBron.
Oh yeah. In a sense, it is like LeBron.
Wow. Yeah. And so how did you so you're working in the field of counseling?
Right.
Right.
I left that out after the Army. Got a job working for Harlem youth program called Harlem, and they were connected with the Urban League, and it was as a vocational counselor, and it was to deal with dropouts and people leaving high school prior to leaving school before graduation. And it was a big epidemic, so to speak, of delinquency and dropouts all over. So we were finding it was vocational training, and also some of them who had high school diplomas, we were trying to direct them to colleges or junior colleges. So I was working with them, and they were located at 116th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue. And that was a different experience also. Drugs and everything was starting to become the order of the day, the other economy, so to speak. I was a part of that, but I was in that environment. But I wasn't a part of it now, but I was in that environment. But working with youngsters and young adults from 16 to 21, that was the age brackets that we were working with, and finding jobs for them and finding college opportunities for them.
Wow.
And training opportunities for them. So that was really, really, really very rewarding. In fact, that led me to apply for a position at one of the city universities, Queens College, as a counselor. And that was a good time for a person who had a college degree, because it seemed as if the war on poverty was supposedly happening, and they were looking for people who had training and had credentials to fill those particular positions. Was also working a double job at the night centers in the South Bronx. They had night centers from 7 to 10, from 3 to 6, and from 7 to 10. And I was working with basketball, a couple of near passing projects, Nate Archibald and all these ball players were in there, in and out of the night centers. It was a haven. It really kept a lot of our youngsters occupied at the time, constructively. There were things for them to do, night centers. And I didn't realize it, just our presence there. Some of the youngsters that just saw us kind of copied what we represented and sort of emulated it. I didn't realize that some guys I'm in contact with to this very day. Youngsters who were in my night center or in the area, at the time. Really kind of advertises that what you do speaks so loud that sometimes you can't hear what a person says. People copy what you do. And you talk about integrity. If you slumming and drugging and doing negative things, like the Pee Wee Kirkland and other people who were involved in things that were not too honorable, some folks thought that was what they should be doing too. And mimicking that behavior to their detriment. But that's why it's so important to have positivity around, because that can be the thing that's the attraction. That can be the attraction. Yeah. You talked about Finding Forrester. Right. One of the guys said, hey Mo, I want you to be in this movie for me. I said, okay. All right. I just thought he was blowing smoke. He called me up one day and said, Mo, I need you. You need to get you a partner. I need you for this movie. You have to go down to the school on Essex Street. They're filming today. So we went down there. And do you realize we were doing a basketball scene. Great movie. Great movie. Doing a basketball scene. That was 2008, I think it was, Lowe's. Still getting revenues from the movie. Not a lot, but hey.
To let y'all know I'm breaking the house.
Yeah.
I said, let them know don't break in the house.
Oh yeah, no.
But just and the fellow who I forget his name now, but Russell. Right.
Barbershop.
Russell. He has barbershops.
With Harlem.
Yeah. He is the one who made the introduction. And,
wow.
And then evolved. They gave us initial 500, and then I came back and people start congratulating me. Congratulations. I said, well, what happened? He said, you've been upgraded. I said, what do you mean? He said, you've been upgraded.
Oh, tell him what okay, you're going to tell him.
I said, how did I get upgraded? He said, because you said something. In the basketball thing, before you toss the ball up, we gave directions of which baskets the jumpers are going to. White, blue. because I said that, they gave me
Speaking role.
a ZAG, was it ZAG?
SAG.
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 They gave me a contract with them. And now,
Now you have to sign paper. He's an actor. He's an actor now.
yeah. So I said, wow, this is too good to be true.
Wow. And before we get into officiating and staying in shape real quick, I want to digress for a moment. I want to talk about how you ran into or how you met your wife.
Oh God! Wow.
That's a funny one, bro. That's kind of hilarious. That's kind of hilarious.
Wow.
When I was at Queens College, I was able to get these students jobs. The guys were working, they were working at Pan Am as customer reps. They were working at the different banks, insurance companies. One guy was working at Pan Am as a rep. The brother bought himself a green Porsche and didn't come back to school. If you were working as a rep, you could travel, and the money was really good for these students. Well, I had a reputation of finding jobs for students. So I didn't know my wife, but she was a home ec student, and someone told her that
This man can get you a job.
if you want a job, go see this guy, Bill Modeste. He's with the Percy Sutton Seek program. So she came in and
Oh boy, here we go.
I've been referred to you by such and such. I'm a home ec major, and I'm about to graduate. What are my job possibilities? I said, well, we don't teach home ec. We don't, English, math, social science, but we have nothing for home ec. Give me your number.
Mm-hmm. Look.
He said, give me your number.
Come on, there she is.
Hold on, what? We gotta plug up real quick, y'all. Excuse me. Okay, so give me. So you got mommy's number. You shouldn't have been fraternizing.
No, it's not.
But you
fraternizing,
didn't.
it's business.
He said, I'm not fraternizing.
No fraternizing. No integrity often. Integrity to the bone. Now. So and that was the end of it. Lowe's. Now, a buddy of mine was getting married, and the marriage was going to be in Queens, and he asked me to come to his the ceremony, the pre-marriage. I think they had
Like a wedding party thing?
Yes, wedding party. So
What's it? Engagement party.
yes. Well, so I go out to the engagement party or this particular reception in Queens, and I see this sister
Oh boy.
sitting by herself, looking like Angela Davis with a
He look like
red
Angela.
fro and an orange scarf around herself. I said, wow, whoo.
Come on now.
So I said, Harold, I knew the bride and the groom. I said, introduce me to that lady. So,
Oh, I wish my mother was here to hear this, boy.
so they introduced me. This is my friend Bill Modeste, and this is Cassandra Campbell. And she said, I know you.
And you looking at her like, no.
How could this be possible? I'm attractive, but how could it? You know me and me not know you. I mean, but she changed her whole hairdo and persona. She was a different person. She was, looked like she was ready for the revolution.
He's ready for the revolution. He said.
Well, she said, I know you, and I've graduated now.
He said he graduated.
You were like, oh my goodness.
I said, oh, wow.
He said, "Oh wow."
That was the alpha. Yeah, and the omega is happening now.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome, man. Yeah, and then you got the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are.
You got the family.
Oh, there's me. Okay, I see the picture. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, one cool thing about Doc was that she had one of her track buddies. I think she was a long distance.
Look, yeah, Lakeisha.
And she lived in, I think, Queens,
Brooklyn. Like damn near Coney Island.
But for her to stay on the Mount Vernon track team.
Don't say nothing, Lowe's to New Rochelle about this one.
Right. She had to live in Queens. She had to live in Mount Vernon.
Her commute to Brooklyn was 2.5 hours, and she was one of the fastest Jamaican girl. I think she went to Beer or some school in Jamaica on the team. So Coach Dindy, who coached at your facility, he said, man, boy, if we could get Lakeisha not to commute. And he convinced me to ask them, could she live with us?
Wow.
Yeah, so she stayed with us for a whole semester.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I would go to the school, you know, when you have teacher-student night.
Oh, yeah, he was filling as a parental figure because her
Right.
parents weren't there.
Yeah, and she was so appreciative of that, you know, and it was such a...
I forgot about that.
It was such a giving. Let her sit down and do her homework, you know, and watch her do her homework and make sure she did. It was like the epitome of giving, you know. We were sharing our wealth and opportunity with, I won't say less fortunate, but at the time she had an issue that made her less fortunate than we were in reference to getting to her particular goal.
Right.
Yeah. It was nice. That was a nice experience of gratitude.
Only thing I couldn't stand is she'd be on the phone and she wouldn't click over. I'd be like, yo, like, come on, man. I had my sister, now I gotta wait on the phone. But he got his own referee line because it was.
Oh yeah, it was
too
disrupting to the family
flow.
Like,
not me, every, oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Conversations all night, scheduling, pulling, bing. I was in Grand Central Station.
Wow.
You made up a little lyric.
Oh yeah, I recorded a song in his answering state that goes like this. Hello, you just reached my daddy Bill Modeste line. If you want to referee some games to keep you occupied, just leave a message, surprise, and he'll be on your line. Let's hear it one more time with the bass line. And he was like, Zakia, nobody thinks that is my phone number. They were hanging up. They're like, we got the wrong number.
Right.
So I had to eventually take it off. So, you know,
Oh, man.
we have fun with this unique life we live, you know?
We
Yeah.
made lemonade out of the lemons, you know.
Yeah. That's where you do it. And so, how did you get started in officiating? And yeah, talk about that. And then we want to get into, you know, staying in shape, staying healthy all these years.
Yeah, some elder statesmen, guys who have been around.
Floyd Lane is his mentor. How'd you meet Floyd?
Well, Floyd,
I think.
Floyd was, you know,
New picture.
a unique person in his own right. At City College, and they're the only team in history to win the NCAA.
Yeah, I
And
think
the
that's Floyd Lane right there, right?
Right.
Oh, it's your birthday. Where you get these
Yes,
pictures from?
yes, yeah, on the very end. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very end Floyd Lane. He's a legend, like you.
Yeah,
So he was a coach?
yeah. Well,
Wow,
he was coach. He coached City College after he coached FIT and coached a lot of community stuff, you know.
okay. And there's Ray J.
He's a legend, man. I mean, Floyd
Yeah,
Lane's a legend. He just recently passed, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, which one?
He said Floyd recently passed.
Yes.
And then,
Yeah.
93.
and then he said that he see Ray J, that's Alamo, well, my god brother, like the other brother you had, he's also a referee. They did this, well, they referee together.
Yeah.
And he sees your mother at church, and that's the guy who introduced him to my mom's, right?
Yes.
Wow, Harold Mays.
Yeah.
He transitioned in COVID.
Right.
And there's Paul Griffin,
Wow.
Eddie Griffin, Griffin.
Yeah, I remember the Griffith brother, man. They was refereeing for a while too.
Yes. In fact, I saw.
Oh, there's Harry Belafonte. He met Harry Belafonte and him went to Commerce High School.
Not Commerce.
Oh, sorry.
Junior high school. They call it Junior High School 43.
Okay, same high school, but that was interesting.
Junior high school.
We were at Mist in Harlem, and I know Gina Belafonte. I've seen her here. She's very heavy in the activism circle in Harlem, and I introduced. I said, "My father want to meet your father." I think they went to the same school, and what did you say to him? He said, "You're."
Oh, you're my idol. He said, "You're too young to have
You're
an
too
idol."
young to have an idol like me.
Yeah, Harry was one of the guys. He never conked his hair. I mean, he and Sidney Poitier, they played characters that were dignified from their visibility to their acting skills and whatever. They didn't.
And the roles they chose.
Yeah, the roles they
What
chose.
about Guess Who's Coming to Dinner?
Who's that?
Sidney Poitier.
Yeah. He was a teacher, right? Oh yeah. Well,
He was a doctor then. He was, and
right. Yes,
yeah.
I was thinking about the other one.
To serve with love.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So back to Sydney and
Yeah.
they always represented themselves as strong, rooted people of African American descent, and didn't compromise in the roles that they chose.
Or even how they presented their images. I mean, you didn't see them conking their hair, and that was always almost like a big turnoff for some brothers.
What does conking mean?
They put that
you get a press.
Yeah,
I think my dad.
Marcel, right? Yeah.
Yeah, used to press your hair, man. Put that all stuff in there.
Yeah. With the hot comb.
The hot comb, like they did in the Temptations. Remember they got their hair pressed.
Yeah, so you can have.
You have it flowing.
You have a long hair,
Luxurious hair.
Those Poitier and Harry, they were always straight up. This is. You have to accept my blackness if you want me to star in your picture. That's something I thought. I saw the integrity, the dignity, and the self-worth that they were always conscious of how they represented themselves to their public that looked like them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, man, you referee for a long time. They were always heroes. They will always be heroes.
Well, I just want to tell you that I loved a lot of games, but can you kind of give a little taste of what it was like back in the day at 4th Street Playground when Millbank used to come in town and play against Mount Vernon? Come on, give us a little highlight of what you thought about those days, man.
Those days were tough, boy. And that 4th Street, well, I know the Harlem audience kind of like prepped me to be able to handle the 4th Street audience.
Yeah, that Rucker Park, man.
Yeah, I mean, they was talking about, hey, ref, I want to do this to your mother, your daughter, and so. And I was like, you had to take this, you know. You don't like it?
You was acting like my wife over there.
Oh, nowadays the referees have all this protection. You can get rid of the people. You can throw them out of the stands now. You have to do sportsman-like stuff now. Back in the day, they didn't have that.
No, you're so right now. They tell us now, if there's anyone, they tell both teams, if there's any racial comments or activities to the players or anyone in the stands, let us know. And, you know, they're trying to come down on that now.
Yeah, definitely.
Kind of way, you know? But then it was rough. Oh, buddy. It was rough. Woo! It was rough.
I know them games had to be, you know, the speed of the game, the athleticism of the game between the Rucker and then, you know, getting the 4th Street Playground, and then, you know, how do you sustain as you got older? It probably came easier.
It's you have to have a certain type of, I guess, foresight. And you mentioned my buddy Ronnie Nunn.
Yeah.
I remember him being around us. Saw him June something when he helped this brother Hugh Evans, who was inducted into Basketball Referees Hall of Fame, or who was at A&T when I was down at Shore University. And Hugh was a great baseball player and basketball player, but he decided to go into refereeing as opposed to trying to get into the NBA, because the NBA had quotas on us at the time.
Right.
Quotas on us, you know. But review that question. I lost it.
How did you deal with it?
Oh yeah. I guess love for the game was one thing, and the challenge too, in trying to committing myself to being able to do the right thing. I think I can handle this. You know, I couldn't dunk. You know, but I thought I can handle this. You know, I just felt that I could handle it. You know,
well, can I add? I want to add his pregame preparation. He shared with me in the locker room. He'll have, what would you go through your ritual before game in the locker room? Somebody yelling at you and saying, "Give me more," insulting you. Practice. Practice of the insult before the insults happen. You suck, ref. You suck. I was at the Tony's house last night, ref. Ref, your grandmother,
Fire me up,
But you always so you always
you black be time, and I would say no, you won't, because I'm a dunking mother hubba.
I mean, you seem to be always so calm.
You have to control the emotion. I feel the guy told me that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. You know, so and you can't calm a hectic situation by being hectic yourself. It's just gonna ignite it and make it even
More hectic.
yeah, it's just going to make it just more difficult to deal with, you know.
Yeah.
So I try, I endeavor not to lose. Right. Because control the things that I can control. And I can control myself, you know, like, one of the fans said, yeah, ref, I'm going to, your sister and your children too, your daughter, I'm going to get her. And I just looked around, security, he kept
the soul away from his refereeing.
Yeah, I didn't want
so like Los, I didn't even know he was a referee till like, you know, I didn't know like who he was until I got old enough to handle who he was. So he did a great job at creating two different worlds and allowing me to be my track, and he did his refereeing. It was very, very, very separate. And I had a brother that came. I used to work at the gym, and when I meet some athletes or trainers, and once I had his picture in my office, and you know, I worked in Harlem, right? You talking about man?
Yeah.
I worked in Harlem, and he would come in, and people would come in like, "How do you know that man?" And I say, "That's my father." Wow, you know, and here I think, you know, he's so busy, but he's out there busy building the character and integrity in individuals who may have been in a deficit because they didn't have a complete family structure. So not sharing the wealth in that manner as well. So that meant a lot to me, and I understood it better, because in a perfect world, you know, you got two parents, but it's a rarity to have both of your parents in growing up around here. And
Right.
people envy you sometimes. You get treated worse because you have two parents.
Mhm.
They call them the Cosby family. You know?
Right. The Cosby family.
Yeah. She's for being right, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Celebrated for being wrong. We got to change the narrative.
Yeah.
So
And
I got.
wanted them to have their own shadow too. I didn't want. Oh, you so and so's daughter. I wanted them to have their own identity. I wanted
Right.
them to have their own identity. You know, I didn't want them to go in the shadow of my identity. I thought it was important for them to have their own identity.
Yeah. So before we get off here, we're going to run a little bit over. I think this is important, right? So Zakia, talk about, like, your dad's 86 years old, and I always say
86 years young.
86 years young.
young. Okay, young. Fine wine. So talk about, you know, in terms of his longevity. I mean, the things that he has to do. Because I said it earlier. You know, when I used to see Mr. Modeste, I always used to say, when I grow up, man, I'm gonna be just like you. I want to be moving around. I want to be going. I want to do what I want to do. You know, and I want to be active. And so talk about how, you know, as we all get older, right, or younger, you know, how do we stay young? You know, what are some of the things that we could, not being you know, you don't have to be a referee to do it. It's just lifestyle.
Right.
Right. So how do we create this lifestyle?
Well,
right.
He is a complete model, because, you know, I blew my knee out in college, and I had a hole in the femur, and I ended up at the boys club coaching, limping, and, you know, painkillers and a little bit of whiskey, a little bit of weed, and stark contrast to who he was.
Look at that face over there.
You know, but I would come back.
Medical reasons.
Medical reasons.
Well, listen to
Being transparent, right? I come back from school and see him packing his bag with his apple and his water, and I was like, "Oh, this ain't it. This ain't it, Doc." So he doesn't drink, smoke, none of that. In fact, he used to have to pretend he go out with his buddies and ooh, he's they like, what's the matter with your boy? Because they would say he was sober. What's wrong with it? So
They used to have a little saying when they wanted to weed up. Let's take a walk around the block. And when I would accompany them, they would say, "You not down?" So they gave me a pass.
so I kind of like, I think he has under his belt a lot of, he actually really introduced me to like the science of the body. And as I graduated, my body was all out of whack. And I wanted to go to physical therapy, but I ran track in Tennessee. And funny fact, I actually coached because of him and my roommate, Tamika. I coached for Coach Summit during the summer. I didn't know nothing about basketball. I was like, what? D cut, B cut. But I was able still, and also being at the boys club, I was able to know the language, to be able to get a paycheck.
Make it till you make it.
Make it till I make it, right? So he it models that. But being active, strength training is one thing you have to do as you get older. You lose muscle. This is one thing that me and him disagree on, but this is our point of contention that he has to lift weights because he never lifted weights back in the day. But as you get older, you have to overload the body to maintain the muscle mass and also eat and intake that. I would say I'm trying to stay away from synthetic protein, but natural plant-based foods that have high levels of amino acids, and also creating the bone density, like helping your bone density goes away. So doing things like heel drops, or even you see us in the gym, mini drops, and he's still effing. And also he had a little fall in March on the escalator and he broke his cheekbone. So that, like, woo, for me, I was like, okay. I had to take all my expertise that I had in getting my knee together, because the doctor said I'd never run again. And I competed in Colgate 4 times, and I placed in the top 3 after college. College was open after college. So I was like, okay, I got this. But I had to take time out to align my body. So learning about the chiropractic, acupuncture, devices that you don't need to go to the doctor, whether it's even massage, and finding out where sitting for a long time can aggravate your body. So stretching what is tight and strengthening what is loose and weak. So I would say in hydration, 70% of Americans are dehydrated. So hydration, for the most part, helps the synergistic metabolization of vitamins and minerals. So you can't even utilize them in a dehydrated state. And right now, my mom is in the hospital. She always comes in the rehab center, and you can keep her in her prayers. She had abdominal blockage and had to have a colon removed. So I am on double duty right now. So this is a great kind of reprieve from just visits to the hospital, and just also reinforcing the narrative of healthy living, helping them getting a lot of mushroom. Mushroom is good about building the bacteria in your gut. We are under attack, y'all. We're under attack politically. We're under attack through the food, through the pesticides, through the ultra high processed food. And if Americans get you sick enough to stay alive, that's how they make money on it. So, in having an understanding of the hydration level, your glycemic index of sugar, right? And also the fact that food is highly processed and processed, and taking on a defensive mechanism can help you sustain a quality of life. So I would say do a cardio a week, strength training, and hydration and flexibility. Focus on those 4 things. Just like a plant, you have to water it. You gotta get sunlight. You gotta get nutrients into the soil. So you gotta do that to your body.
What you take in, like
fruits and vegetables. The fruits and vegetables, making sure that no highly processed food. I try to stay away from all meat. Like he's not eating any meat, even Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving, like she and eat turkey on my plate, right? So I've been sneaking, trying to like put in a lot of coconut oil for the brain and the neuroplasticity and the memory, and also getting enough sleep. And that's when we fall. We could be up to 2:30 just talking and sometimes talking on the phone, and then I have to be cognizant because now we have radiation that's hitting our bodies. Not 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. So grounding yourself in the grass. I have him outside putting his feet in the grass, and he can tell them, right?
Yep. And she convinced me to the acupuncture.
Yeah. So
Twice.
Twice.
Yeah.
So
Acupuncture?
Yes, it helps the meridians and we're all electricity. So sometimes
right.
you have electrical blockages. We're made up of electrons, neurons, protons. Protons hold a lot of the toxins. So in grounding yourself, it's a way to flush the toxins out of your body. And for most of us, we don't touch the ground. We have sneakers on, we're in cars, and we are a part of the universe. So when we live isolated from it, being elevated off of it, we're not connected to it. And to have that connection, you feel like people with stones, the tiger's eye, that stone gives you that connection when your body can't. And just put your hands in the grass, feet in the grass, or even buying a grounding pad. That's something that we've done. And we have the hydrogen. I try everything. Hydrogen water bottle, you know, the acupuncture. He walked out of the acupuncture feeling really good. He was like, woo! And this is a man that doesn't self-care. He's never, no massage, no foot massage, no nothing. Right? No, I don't no ice pad, no hot pad, nothing. Nothing. So I try to get him.
He was just toughing it out.
If y'all see him in the gym with me, it's the first time that he's ever done anything like this because he's been so highly active that he's been able to maintain. But COVID put a real a break in our action. He was doing 3 games, 5 games, 7 games a week to go to 2-3 years of nothing. So we would go to Trap Pagan and run in the grass or go to the high school and jump the fence and pull the track. I mean, all in the name of staying active. Like, you know, I'll die for a positive energy. You know, if it means that, crucify me for trying to have my best shape and to live in the most optimal state and desire that. That's what wellness is about, and that's our birthright. Joy and bliss. We're breathing for a reason. We're a manifestation of God. We have to enjoy that love, integrity, character, all those things, man, Lord, that we reflect, you know, and triangulate.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a good coach over there. You got a good coach, so
I learned from watching all 3 of y'all, 3 too.
Yeah. So I want to say thank you guys, man, for coming on, man. This has been very enlightening. Which book is that?
Health at 100. Healthy at 100.
Healthy at 100. Oh, I got to get that one.
Yeah.
And what do you like about it the most?
It talks about a couple of different countries and people. The Japanese, a couple of other areas talk about how they live their lives that allow them to have longevity.
And I want to just reiterate, he's a consummate study. He goes to sleep, you know, saying going upstairs to read for about an hour. In the morning, he's listening to news, constantly just ingesting positive things that can help his agency, and also just new things, right? That operate at a higher frequency. We have so much low vibration things in this world that it makes it foreign to think of improving yourself is an atrocity. So this book says, Healthy at 100, how you can, at any age, dramatically increase your lifespan and your health span. And he has a core book, too, learning about the muscles, educating yourself about the body. We live in the information age right now, the Aquarian age of I know. We have YouTube University, we have Instagram, we have every chat, GPT, AI. You can write an ebook on your own. You can find out, create a plan for yourself for 3 months if you want to lose weight. You don't even need a personal trainer right now, really. So it's just seeking the knowledge out and having the fighting spirit and the drive to want to be better and increase people around you, you know?
That's right, yeah. Well, I want to say thank you guys, man. This has been very enlightening. I might have to go back and listen to some of this myself.
Absolutely.
I'm to listen to it again.
I gotta give it away.
Yeah, you got to give it away. Don't keep it.
No, no.
Spread the wealth.
You gotta give it away.
If you want
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
you gotta give it away.
Any final things, Trees?
No, he's just both of them are impressive, just all the way around, and I just love, it's just been a blessing to hear and to see you just getting up and down the court. And I'm sitting here saying, man, I could barely get up the stairs. I'm gonna have to get a sock to come over here and stretch me out some, because man, oh man, I need some help.
Tree says she needs some help.
When you stop moving, it throws dirt on you. So
Oh, there you go.
I like that saying right there.
And Patrice, if you go to Body Zoc, I teach at John Jay College. It's interesting enough because we are colleagues now. He's at Queens College. I'm at John Jay College, and I really in the beginning I didn't think I could do it. My friend was like, "You should be." I was like, "I don't teach," and I was scared to death in front of those college students. But we have the same schedule, breaks on and off, so he's been instrumental. He had to help students. I had an issue. A student was hitting on me. And I said, Dad. Uh-oh. Is that me? Sorry.
Nah, you good. Nah,
So,
you was
yeah,
good.
So I said, Dad. I said, this student's hitting on me, man. He said, well, it's good that he's inspired by the way you look. I said, oh, Dad, oh God. He said, good. You don't want to be up there looking like,
Oh,
That's
man.
a good dad. That's a good dad.
It's so true that students listen to you if you have this is advertisement. I mean, if you have an appealing eye, an appealing sense of being, then you're gonna gain the attention of an individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, and I want to piggyback on that because he was wearing his tie every day, his polo cologne, the vest.
Yeah, he be dressing now.
Right. Yeah. So and it helps them see, because we all know what sweatpants look like. So even though I'm online and when I'm in person, I do the same thing. I have to come like I am giving them something of value that can get them in or out of any situation. So presentation and first impression. In my first day of class, I am so rigid and stoic, and then I loosen up and I become myself, just to show them like, hey, this is how it has to be if you want to succeed in life on a higher level. You have to show that you can do all things and you can morph to that. So I really enjoy being instrumental in the growth and development of my students' lives. It's very fulfilling. You know, really,
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to teaching them. I never thought I would enjoy it that much.
Awesome, man. Well, I want to say thank you guys again, man. Appreciate you. And
and kudos to you and your wife.
Yeah.
For what you do, because I didn't know that you had endeavored into this particular area, which is awesome.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
It is reflective of, I was sitting there when he was getting inducted in the Hall of Fame, and I was like, man, who would really value coming? And I was, and I had to really, I gotta reach, and you're so much of a family and so much of, so instrumental in seeing, even with me, in so many different stages of my life. I'm working with Ben Gordon, and even when I didn't know what was happening, you were there. nothing. You weren't shy away from anything, but I could tell when a situation was invalid for me. I was as long as they here, maybe I don't need to speak. So it's great to see, because he can't tell me that. He can show me that, but you can show me that too. And when I see moving the same way, some things don't have to be even said. They could just be modeled. And I say, he never told me who to be. He showed me how to be.
Oh, I like that. That's a good place. That's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
I like that. Hey, you should just drop the mic on that one. Boom. Oh man. Yeah, drop the mic on that one. But again,
Thank you, Lowe's.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And
Patrice said was she not dressed?
she didn't leave. She didn't go nowhere. She over here.
We can't get a hand. We can't get a sister hand. Oh, there she is. My girl. Right.
She got her St. John official stuff on.
Okay.
And weren't you the first female football coach at the high school?
Now that's what.
I was the manager for the football team.
Right. Okay.
I was the manager for the football team. So I was a statistician. I kept all of the stats for the football team when I was a junior and senior, and then my sister picked it up. But I definitely was on the sidelines. But you know what? I'm definitely one of those football junkies. I grew up. My dad used to take me to all the football games. So I was a little girl in Remember the Titans, the one that was not the black girl that said I do not care. No, I was the other one that knew everything about football. And I haven't watched football when he doesn't watch football because I know sometimes if they throw a flag and I go, oh, that's offsides or legal procedure or something like that. And he's like, how you know?
But Razorbacks was such a good thing. Coach Rick he didn't let me play high school football because of my shoulder. He tried to say, he says, Zakia, I knew you shouldn't have been doing that. So I saw women in great places, even in Mount Vernon. I think Holly coached the football team. But my father wanted me to remind you about the evolution of the black quarterback by Michael Vick.
Oh yeah.
It's a good watch, and it just kind of speaks.
Awesome.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
About the dilemma of the black athlete as we try to find our worth and value in these functions of discipline.
I actually taught two of the young men that lived in my block how to play football, and then they eventually coached the Razorbacks later. Yeah. And they used to tell people that when the girls want to play, and they would say girls can't play, and they would always say no. I'm here because a girl taught me when their fathers didn't take them outside to play football. I took them outside to play football. And it was funny because right up until I got married, I was married, and they would come to my house and knock on the door and ask me to come outside to play football.
I got no job.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and that's good, man, to have somebody, man, who loves sports as much as you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
And probably more.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to close us out. Y'all just hold on for a second. Yes. Thank you again. So hold on for a second.
Love you, Bob.
Love y'all.
Love you. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who support the Blueprint Podcast each and every week. I look forward to seeing you next week. We have a special Super Bowl Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. I have my good friend Sam Clancy, 12 years in the NFL. And then the following week, right, we're going to have a special NBA All-Star weekend podcast as well. And so I look forward to seeing you guys then. Thank you again for your support. And I say this each and every week. If the Lord allow you to wake up tomorrow, make tomorrow your masterpiece. God bless you. And I'll see you next week.
I like that.
Good night.
Good night.
Here we go.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Lowe's More, the Blueprint Podcast. Stay connected and follow us at our website, www.lowesmore.com. That's LOWESMOORE.com. You can also join the discussion on Twitter at Lowe's More and on Facebook at Lowe's More Jr. As always, thank you for pushing your mindset towards a better reality. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast to stay fully up to date with everything we're up to. Until next time, be kind to yourself and each other.
What they teaching is a joke. I ain't buying it like I'm broke. Insufficient funds for insignificant.